explosion leveled half the city, Halifax, Nova Scotia, December 6, 1917. A bustling port city, throbbing with wartime activity. Canada was deeply entwined in the Great War, and Halifax served as a vital launchpad for troops and supplies heading to the European front. The harbor teemed with ships of all sizes, a chaotic dance of freighters, warships, and smaller vessels jockeying for position. Life was regimented, fueled by patriotic fervor and the constant anxiety of news from overseas. Families clung to normalcy, but the war cast a long, dark shadow. The air, thick with the smell of salt and coal smoke, held a premonition of disaster. Little did the people of Halifax know, their city was about to become the epicenter of one of the largest man-made explosions in history, dwarfing even the battlefields of Europe. The seemingly ordinary morning held a sinister secret, ticking away like a time bomb on the waterfront. 2 ships entered Halifax harbor that fateful morning. The first, the SS Mont Blanc, a French cargo ship laden with a staggering amount of explosives. Over 2,300 tons of picric acid, TNT, and gun cotton bound for Bordeaux. She carried enough explosive power to obliterate a city. The second ship, the SS IMO, a Norwegian vessel chartered by the Belgian Relief Commission, was on its way to New York to pick up supplies for war-torn Belgium. A critical delay had thrown IMO off schedule, creating an unfortunate convergence in the narrowest part of the harbor, known as the Narrows. The harbor was normally under strict naval control, but wartime pressures and a lax approach to regulations had created a recipe for disaster. As the 2 ships approached each other, a series of miscommunications and procedural errors sealed their fate. The IMO, eager to make up lost time, found herself on the wrong side of the channel. The Mont Blanc, hugging the Dartmouth shoreline, was attempting to navigate the crowded harbor with extreme caution. Signals were exchanged, but misunderstood. A blast of the IMO's whistle was met with confusion. The Mont Blanc responded, but the situation deteriorated rapidly. It became clear to both captains that a collision was imminent. Desperate maneuvers were attempted, but they were too late. The IMO rammed into the starboard bow of the Mont Blanc at a relatively low speed. A seemingly minor incident, but with catastrophic consequences. A spark ignited the volatile cargo. Initially, the collision seemed unremarkable. But then, a strange, white smoke began to billow from the Mont Blanc's hold. Curious onlookers gathered along the shore, drawn by the unusual spectacle. Children pointed and laughed, unaware of the impending doom. Sailors on nearby ships watched with growing unease. The fire quickly spread, consuming the deck and sending plumes of thick, black smoke into the sky. For nearly 20 minutes, the Mont Blanc burned, a floating inferno drawing more and more spectators. Few understood the true nature of her cargo. It was a fatal ignorance, one that would cost thousands of lives. As the fire intensified, the Mont Blanc drifted toward Pier 6, further increasing the risk to the city. A small crew bravely attempted to extinguish the flames, but their efforts were futile. The heat became unbearable, forcing them to abandon ship and flee for their lives. They knew what was coming, but their warnings went unheeded. The harbor master, too, was unaware of the ship's cargo, adding to the tragic chain of errors. The burning ship became a macabre attraction, a spectacle that would soon unleash unimaginable devastation. The countdown had begun, and the city was oblivious. At 4:35 a.m., the Mont Blanc exploded. It was the largest man-made explosion before the atomic bomb. The blast was instantaneous and cataclysmic. A blinding flash of light engulfed the harbor, followed by a deafening roar that shattered windows for miles around. A massive shockwave ripped through Halifax and Dartmouth, leveling buildings, overturning ships, and sending debris flying through the air like deadly projectiles. The force of the explosion created a tsunami that surged through the harbor, adding to the destruction. The landscape was instantly transformed into a scene of utter carnage. The immediate aftermath was one of unimaginable chaos and horror. Buildings were reduced to rubble, streets were littered with bodies, and fires raged uncontrollably. The wounded lay trapped beneath debris, crying out for help. The air was thick with smoke, dust, and the stench of burning fuel. Communication lines were severed, hampering rescue efforts. Panic gripped the city as survivors struggled to comprehend the magnitude of the disaster. Hospitals were overwhelmed, and makeshift morgues were established to cope with the staggering number of dead. The once vibrant city was now a wasteland of shattered dreams and broken lives. In the hours and days that followed, a desperate rescue operation unfolded. Volunteers from across Nova Scotia and beyond poured into Halifax to assist in the recovery efforts. Doctors, nurses, and firefighters worked tirelessly to save lives, braving the dangers of collapsing buildings and raging fires. The stories of heroism and selflessness were numerous, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable tragedy. But amidst the acts of courage, there was also looting and chaos, a dark undercurrent of desperation in the devastated city. The initial investigation focused on assigning blame. Captain Aimé Lemedec of the Mont Blanc and Captain Hawken of the IMO were quickly identified as key figures. Initial hearings pointed towards negligence on both sides, fueling public anger and a thirst for justice. However, the complexities of maritime law and wartime conditions muddied the waters. Were they truly responsible, or were they scapegoats for a system that had become dangerously lax? The investigation became a tangled web of conflicting testimonies and political maneuvering. A major twist emerged during the inquiry: the role of naval authorities. Evidence surfaced suggesting that the Royal Canadian Navy, responsible for harbor traffic control, had failed to properly manage the movement of ships. The strict protocols that should have been in place were ignored due to wartime pressures and staffing shortages. This revelation shifted the blame, exposing a systemic failure that went beyond the actions of the two captains. It was a convenient deflection, shifting responsibility away from the highest levels of command. The trials that followed were fraught with controversy. Captain Lemedec and Captain Frum were initially found guilty of manslaughter, but the convictions were later overturned on appeal. The legal proceedings became a battleground for shifting blame and political maneuvering. The naval authorities largely escaped scrutiny, shielded by the veil of wartime secrecy. The victims of the explosion were left with a sense of injustice, their grief compounded by the feeling that those truly responsible had escaped accountability. The legal outcome offered little solace to a city still reeling from the devastation. The aftermath of the explosion left a lasting scar on Halifax. over 2,000 people were killed, and thousands more were injured, many blinded by flying glass. The city was physically and emotionally scarred. The north end of Halifax, the area closest to the blast, was almost entirely destroyed. Rebuilding efforts were slow and arduous, hampered by wartime shortages and economic hardship. The memory of the explosion became a defining moment in the city's history, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the devastating consequences of human error. A second betrayal unfolded years later. Documents, long kept under seal, hinted at a possible cover-up involving the true nature of the Mont Blanc's cargo. Rumors circulated that the ship was carrying not just explosives, but also highly sensitive military materials destined for the war effort. This revelation, though never definitively proven, fueled suspicions that the authorities had deliberately downplayed the full extent of the danger to protect national security. The whispers of conspiracy added another layer of intrigue to the already tragic story, questioning the official narrative and fueling distrust in the government. The legacy of the Halifax explosion extends far beyond the physical devastation. It served as a catalyst for advancements in disaster relief, urban planning, and maritime safety regulations. The disaster highlighted the importance of preparedness and the need for stricter controls over the transportation of hazardous materials. The city of Halifax, though forever changed, rebuilt itself with resilience and determination, transforming the tragedy into a symbol of strength and community spirit. Today, a memorial stands in Halifax, a silent tribute to the victims of the explosion. The Halifax Explosion Memorial Bells, located in Fort Needham Memorial Park, chime in remembrance, but perhaps the most poignant reminder is the annual Christmas tree sent to Boston by the people of Halifax, a gesture of gratitude for the aid provided by the city of Boston in the immediate aftermath of the disaster. It is a symbol of enduring friendship and a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope and compassion can prevail. The chilling irony remains. A city rebuilt on the ashes of a catastrophe, forever marked by a moment of unimaginable destruction, now a beacon of resilience and remembrance.